I'm letting you know I'm already on 10. Let's go.
And it goes a little something like
Hello literates, I'm Britt Radley and welcome back to Writer's Ambition. For those of you who are hanging in since episode 1, use the word 1, and for those of you who are just finding my humble channel, welcome. We hope you stay a while okay. Today, we're going to be talking about Meg Thee Stallion getting shot. How, you may ask, are we talking about a female rapper getting shot when this is the land of the literates, and we're talking about all things writerly? Side note, if you can hear the ogres stomping around, I'm sorry, I have no control. So we're talking about it because at the same time as hashtags like Shot Girl Summer are trending, at the same time as people are saying things like Tory Lanez set the tone, you itches getting shot this summer, at the same time as all of that's happening, people are making jokes about a black woman getting shot unprovoked. There's a quote that keeps circulating, a Malcolm X quote. And so today we're going to talk about quote abuse and how it pertains to Meg Thee Stallion in 2020. The quote is this: "The most disrespected person in America is the black woman. The most unprotected person in America is the black woman. The most neglected person in America is the black woman." This is a quote from Malcolm X. He gave it at the beginning of a speech entitled "Who Taught You to Hate Yourself?" He gave it at a funeral in Los Angeles where he traveled because Ronald Stokes had been gunned down by LAPD, and Ronald Stokes was in the Nation of Islam at the time. Malcolm X was still associated with it, so he went and gave a speech at the funeral, and he says this in his opening remarks. This is in 1962. People are saying this over and over and over again, but do we know what this quote means? Do we know what this quote means? Let's look at Malcolm X himself. Let's look at the context of the quote. And I don't even just mean the speech, "Who taught you to hate yourself?" because in the grand scheme of the speech, these opening remarks don't really have much to do with the speech. Let's look at the context of Malcolm X's. Let's just say, let's go 2 years ahead. This is in 1962 that he makes this speech. In 1964, he founds an organization called the Organization of Afro-American Unity, the OAAU. He goes out of his way to make sure that black women are involved in the running of it. He has conversations with Fannie Lou Hamer. He has conversations with, not Angela Davis, Alice Walker while she's an expatriate in Ghana. And he has journalists involved. Ella Baker, who was friends with Malcolm X, supported it. He had black women involved in the conception and the running of the OAAU. Why is that important? Why is that important to the context of the quote? Because while people are just cherry picking it, they're not really using it in the ethos that it was given of the man. They're not really using it in the spirit of the man who said it or the context. Why? Because Malcolm X didn't say the black woman is the most unprotected person in America and then go about his business. He said that, and then he proceeded to and already had relationships with black women. He valued black women. He valued them as intellectual interlocutors, not just as sex objects or baby machines, not just fetishizing their body. He valued black women. Today, people use that quote as though, well, as long as you don't punch them in the face, it's fine. But then you do this death by 1,000 cuts foolishness when a black woman gets shot, siding with the black man as if there's any reason to shoot someone, an unarmed black woman. But that's okay with us. That Megan Thee Stallion gets shot by Tory Lanez. And no problem, it's Shot Girl Summer, making jokes about it. making jokes, putting other black women on notice. We all about to get shot this summer, evidently. It's about to be on and popping. But the black woman is the most disrespected, neglected, and unprotected person in America. This was from 1962, and we're in 2020. Let's go to some more books, why don't we? Most of these books behind me, particularly The Color Purple. Iconic literature, not iconic black literature, iconic literature. And the movie's a cultural touchstone as well. When The Color Purple came out, there was a lot of pushback, particularly by black men. Do you see the surprise on my face? Particularly by black men at the depiction of the relationships between the black men and the black women in the book. That she had created straw men to be the villains, and that she was making these inappropriate, unrealistic black male characters, that they were underdeveloped, and that she just created them for opposition. Oh, okay, so you're saying that black women don't get raped in the home. You're saying that that doesn't happen. And so you're going to proceed to drag and others. Where's the book I was referencing earlier? I have no idea. I'll find it later. There's a book by Kimberly Nichelle Brown called Writing the Black Revolutionary Diva. And she details, and it's shocking, not to me, but it's shocking and ridiculous the way that these black women were being dragged. Alice Walker, Ntozake Shange, Angela Davis, Michelle Wallace being dragged. Those women dragged on national television. On national television, dragged for the works that they had made, from The Color Purple to For Color Girls Who Have Considered Suicide When the Rainbow Is Enough. Like, all of these women were dragged for their depictions of black men. But the books, the writings weren't about black men. They were about black women. But because they spoke the truth about black women's experiences, which is sometimes black men attack, denigrate black women. Because of that, they were further attacked and denigrated by black men. Perfect example. Ishmael Reed, who is a literary critic, respected literary critic, respected by some, not me, wrote a book in they were writing all of these things in like 1970s. In 1986, Ishmael Reed writes a book called Reckless Eyeballing. Reckless indeed, Ishmael. Writes a book called Reckless Eyeballing, and he was a loud detractor of Alice Walker. Writes Reckless Eyeballing in 1986, has the main character's name be Tremonisha. I won't get into it. It's too easy. I won't get into it. The main character's name is Tremonisha, and he gives her every characteristic he has ever publicly defamed about Alice Walker. True or not? Not. But gives Tremonisha all these attributes. She's loud, she is aggressive, all of the black women tropes. Just fill in the blanks. He did it. This is a black man, the most unprotected, whatever. So writes Reckless Eyeballing, and guess how the book ends? Men break into Tremonisha's apartment, tie her to a chair and shave her head, attack her. Since 1962, when Malcolm X said the quote, it has continued to be true. Let's bring it up even further. R. Kelly. All the support, not R. Kelly in 2020 as we know him. R. Kelly when he was doing all of this and nobody cared. No one cared. Chance the Rapper even says, very honestly, in the Surviving R. Kelly interview, well, maybe I didn't care because they were black women. So you heard it. Continue to perform with him, call him a colleague, and you have a daughter. You have a wife. And you didn't care because you because they were black women. But then they showed the full clip of the interview, and he says something very true. We're trained to protect black men. Black men are the ones being killed in the street. Black men are not the ones being killed in the street. Black men are being killed in the street along with black women. And black women are also being raped and kidnapped, abducted, and no one is looking for them. Like, the way that black abjection is gendered male in the public imagination is why this is quote abuse. Because you say this, but then you are all about the men getting killed and care nothing about black women who are just disappearing. And yes, in a public imaginary, Malcolm X fits into the black radical tradition as a very masculinist revolutionary. He's in the Nation of Islam. He's thought of as being like very patriarchal, like women have their place. And I'm not saying there are not moments when it's like, that seemed icky. Because even in the speech, what he says directly after this really gets into some like, are you using black women as a prop? Or are you actually respecting them because they're human? Or are you just thinking of protecting her as an extension of yourself? There is some of that. But then he goes on to do work with black women and allow himself to evolve and to unlearn misogyny. These people putting this quote out there, not interested in unlearning misogyny. Shot Girl Summer. I don't have to say anything else. I have to say nothing else. And that is how Megan Thee Stallion and her getting shot is absolutely a writerly issue, because it's quote abuse. Refusing to see the ethos of a quote is just as bad as misquoting it altogether. I have to stop. We'll be here for an hour. So this is the first installment of what might become a sporadic series called Quote Abuse. The first one is Malcolm X. I hope we can go up from here. I'm not hopeful about it though. Speaking of black women being disrespected, unprotected, let's get into Tales of Eliza Black. It is story time.
22. Nobody's free until everybody's free. After Fannie Lou Hamer. Is it okay for me to believe that I'm seeing you? I don't know. You'd have to ask Great Rain that. Eliza works double time scouring Laz's face for signs of distress and taking in every line of his face to commit to memory. Just a little over a month and he's changed. Your eyes are darker, she says at the same time as Laz asks, why does your face look so fresh? They laugh at their own eagerness. Why were you crying? Laz asks softly and skates his hand over the mirror like he's caressing her cheek. Like he is, Eliza closes her eyes and revels in the familiar move. She didn't make a habit of crying, but Laz made a habit of wiping her cheek like she was. He could always tell when she wanted to. It was how he showed her that he saw her, in a way that didn't make her have to talk about it. Sometimes her sessions with Doc were the only time she spoke about her feelings, and Laz didn't push her, but that simple move. Zazie, Laz prompts. Rue. Eliza laughs wetly. Only when they're alone do they call each other that. Kid names from when they really couldn't pronounce each other's full names around the hardship of new teeth. They'd kept the names, but only for each other. A secret treasure. Please say something. I just want to hear you. I miss you. I was just missing you, and, it came out of my eyes a little. Tell me how to get you back here, please. Can you let me know that you're okay first? I don't think that's more important than you coming home. Rue, baby, please. It's really driving me over here. Laz sighs and raises his left forearm to the mirror. The sight of the bracelets, so many of them, makes Eliza feel sick. Okay, that's what's up. Now please answer me. Where are you and how do we get you? Listen fast, because I'm not sure how much time we have left. I'm not dead, Zazie. I'm not doing great, but I still have my eyesight. Listen, I said. I'm not dead, but I am in a place called the grave. Great Rain says it's between what's lost and what's sought, or something like that. Basically, it means you can't find me, but you can help me get out. Belle can explain the rest of that. Rue, come back. Eliza can see those hazel eyes growing even darker and more distant. Don't leave me yet. I won't. He blinks his way back and his eyes fix on her again, but his reflection begins to lose focus and she knows her time is almost up. Look, they have a lot of girls here that they've taken. Great Rain says it's a global operation that's been going on since the slave trade. Selling us for sex and murder. She says it's my destiny to end it. Okay, wait. We don't have... No, because this may be a foreign concept for you, but you can't actually save everyone. Lass shouts over her. Eliza watches as his reflection fades. Sorry, that anger is the last expression she'll see for who knows how long. But she holds his gaze until the end. You can't save everyone. I've already learned that, Rue. We both have. Reach your full potential every Tuesday with Britt Riderly's Writer's Ambition. Then embrace adventure every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday with Eliza Black. Don't leave us hanging. We'll see you soon.